Hey, what's up guys, John here. 2024 will become the year of a universal basic income that spreads nationally.
Guaranteed income are popping up around the country as local governments look for new ways to address poverty in their regions.
Today, it's being tested in dozens of pilot programs across the country, in cities as big as Baltimore and as small as Yellow Springs, Ohio.
All across the country, from New York to New Jersey to California and Texas, and everywhere in between, we will see a universal basic income program. It might sound far-fetched, but let's look at where we're at now. 11 cities in 2021 offered a universal basic income pilot program. Then it went to 82 cities across 29 states in 2022. So it increased 700%. Then, December 11th, 2023, about 3 weeks ago, hundreds of cities experimented with giving people basic income. Guaranteed basic income pilot programs are running in communities all over the country, both liberal and conservative. The idea could become the next big public controversy. So it went from 11 in 2021 to hundreds in 2023. Now, when Elon Musk comes out and talks about it, 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Ultimately, we will have to have some kind of universal basic income. I don't think we're going to have a choice.
Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, and all these billionaires saying this is what's needed. And then 2020 happened. And then this kind of threw the gas on that fire. Look at what's happened over the last 48 hours, the last 2 days. USA Today came out saying, something interesting. Newsweek came out all saying the same thing that happened in 2020 could be coming again. And so when you look at this situation, you could see a situation where tens of millions, if not 100 million, 200 million Americans are in a universal basic income pilot program of some sort in this, coming calendar year. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you exactly what's going on because I think this is going to rewrite American history and change the economy as we know it. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube will share this content to educate other people about what's going on. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself what I believe is going to be the greatest wealth transfer in American history, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. Take a look. So this is pretty crazy. Does universal basic income work? Here's how it changed this San Francisco's family's life. This thing came out about 9 days ago. San Francisco, it's an idea that's sweeping the country. Unconditional cash handed out on a monthly basis to families most in need. Universal basic income pilot programs are popping up all across the country, but rarely do we get to follow a family and see the impacts of these small amounts of cash that have on recipients. Now, this family, they are spending $3,000 per month on just rent. $3,000 a month. So you have to ask yourself, if you're living in the same community as this family that's getting subsidies for $3,000 a month, and you're not getting subsidies at $3,000 a month, and you guys are both making the same amount of money, who is the one that's going to be pushed outside of their apartment if there's only one apartment for rent at that price point? Probably you, right? Because they would have the extra money to be able to afford this. Now, if you have a situation where you're talking about tens of millions of Americans getting access to a universal basic income program, you'd have to imagine a situation where a lot of that money would flow into the pockets of landlords. A lot of that money would flow into the pocket of big business. Very similar to what happened in 2020. Now, what would happen to those that are barely making it right now? That's the big question. I would imagine a lot of those would be pushed over the edge financially, and they would be pushed into a space of dependence. Now, when you look at how fast California is already moving in this direction, it's pretty shocking. California cities that offer guaranteed income programs, amounts, requirements, and eligibility. I mean, you're looking at Bay Area, Santa Clara, San Fran, Stockton, Alameda, El Monte, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Marin County, Mountain View, San Francisco. I mean, you start to look at it, this is coming all across California, all across the country. Now, here's how this whole thing, I believe, could come nationally. So this came out today, about 2 hours ago. This is Newsweek. This map shows states where these mandates have returned. So this is just medical institutions, but they're talking California, Illinois, Massachusetts, New York, and Washington, D.C. have all brought rules making them mandatory, right? All mandatory again. So when you see this, you're like, okay, well, where does this go? What does this mean? Well, I saw this today, USA Today, saying that it's been 4 years since this hit, and they show you how this could have all been solved. They say that if only they were able to look at sewage, they would be able to then detect all this, circulating basically immediately. Immediately is what they're saying. So if they were to look at sewage, then you see what's happening in California. California is doing toilet to tap. They're going to be able to test the sewage. and they're going to be able to go through all this. So if you see what's happening in California, which is, a base of about 39 million Americans, and then you look at other states that are doing the same thing, Texas and Colorado, which they're doing the same toilet to tap, right? So because the extra treatment, it really will be some of the highest water waste, higher water quality available, right? Who has himself tasted of the recycled water at the project in Southern California. A few other Western states, including Texas and Colorado, also experimenting with direct portable reuse. So when you look at that, you're like, all right, well, you have California doing it, Texas, Colorado. They're saying right here, USA Today, they came out yesterday saying this, that would have been the solution. And you're seeing all of these things start to pop back up. You have to ask yourself, are they going to be doing this on a national scale? Are they going to be able to test on a national scale? And if they are, and they find a hot spot in one area, and they close it down, people, that are living paycheck to paycheck, maybe pushed out of work, then they're offered a pilot program. Could that be something that completely rewrites American history? I think so. I think this is actually something that's been in the works for a while, because you look here, this is CBS News. Bill Gates, I drank water made from human feces eight and a half years ago. Now, he said that, this turns human waste to drinking water, but he said the next version will be able to burn garbage. So you'll be able to drink garbage. Interesting, to say the least. That was 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago. We're at the first stage of that, the human waste. Now, I think it's very interesting how fast the world's moving. I think it's moving very, very quickly, and I think that a lot of changes are incoming, and it's all going to be in 2024 about, health is a human right, health insurance is a human right, housing is a human right. I think we're going to see a massive push for everything being a human right, one of which is going to be a livable income, a livable wage. But you have to ask yourself, how can there be a livable wage with our current tax base staying the same and inflation not going out of control? Well, the answer is things are going to get worse to the middle. It's going to get better for the people at the top. People at the top, people that are making, a really big income, are going to be able to go out there and buy up all the assets of the people that are forced to sell them because they're not going to be able to make ends meet due to this inflationary world we're living in. I mean, look at what's going on in California, for example, because this is also going to continue to push this universal basic income forward. So California becomes the first state to offer health insurance to all undocumented immigrants. This is ABC News. Came out 3 days ago. They say about 700,000 adults between the ages of 26 and 49 will be eligible. I mean, that's a pretty big number, 700,000, but the actual number is bigger than that. It's 764,000. They rounded down for some reason there. But 764,000 are going to become eligible for this inside of California. Now, I believe this will be coming to a lot of other states, because if you look at the list here, Center of Immigration Studies, this shows you where all the cities, states, and counties that offer sanctuary protections are. It's, pretty big map. You have California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Utah, Vermont, Washington. You're looking at hundreds of cities here. So what do I think is going to happen? I think we're walking into something really, really big here in 2024. Am I saying this is going to be the big one? This is going to be the situation where everything goes back to 2020, everything goes back to there? No. But what I am saying is that we're moving into a direction where if it's not this one, it might be the next one, it might be the next one. And it could be a week from now, it could be a month or 6 months or a year from now. But we're moving in that direction of a universal basic income going national. I mean, how do you go from 11 cities in 2021 to 82 cities in 2022 to hundreds in 2023, and then us ever going back to a place to where there's no universal basic income? It's only going one way up. It's a rocket ship. The universal basic income chart, if you were to look at it like a meme stock, it would be going to the moon. And that's where we're going with universal basic income. Inflation's not going back to 2%. I don't believe. I don't think it's going to 3% or 4%. I think inflation is going to become much, much, much more stubborn than many anticipate. And why I believe that if you are someone that's ambitious, you have really, really big goals, you're going to see a situation in a world that's going to get more expensive. If you look at where mom and pop property owners are, they own over 40% of all duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. As insurance and taxes continue to go up, it's going to become much harder to hold on to these assets. And so what are you going to start to see? People being forced to sell. Over the next year or so, we're going to see a mass liquidation of assets going all across the country. We're going to see businesses being sold. Cars, work trucks. I mean, everything is going to be coming up for sale. This universal basic income isn't going to be a situation where people are going to be able to travel and have all the fun in the world and only work 3 days a week. Even though there's been a lot of conversation about a 3-day work week and a 4-day work week being the new normal, it's going to be an incredible lifestyle. It's not going to happen. It's only going to be incredible for the wealthy. But I believe the next couple of years, if you make really smart, calculated decisions, you'll put yourself in a position to where you have an incredible life. You're acquiring a ton of assets and you're putting yourself in a better financial position than ever before. But if you ignore what's actually happening, you're going to wake up in a couple years and wish that you didn't. What do you think about this situation? Drop below, hit the like button. If you'd like to fix your credit, to position yourself to get funding, to invest in real estate, to buy a business, to get a work truck, to buy a vehicle, you're going to need great credit. Go to greatcreditfast.com if you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, or closures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in a credit report. Click the link in the description just below and schedule a free strategy session. Catch you in the next video.